Today has been a crazy day for crypto. I mean, one of the craziest parts was that everywhere on Twitter, people were saying that Binance was going to take some stuff down. To be particular, people said that Binance was going to seize all leverage trading very soon. And now, looking into it, for the most part, the only thing I can find, and I texted with Binance, is that they're taking down some leverage tokens. So just a delisting of some tokens that in it had some leverage. You might be wondering, Dusty, why is that little thing over on the top left, that show notifications thing, still here? I've clicked. It's gone. Anyway, so just a couple of coins, BTC up, BTC down, yada, yada, yada. They're being taken off over in the beginning of April. And honestly, this is a very big nothing burger. It means nothing. Oh, a couple of coins are going away. All right, story of a lifetime, I guess. But Twitter took that significantly differently. Anyway, all the while, people are like worrying about the wrong thing. I've talked about it before. Right now, I'm only focusing on buying the right altcoins. But I've noticed from some people, and they ask me the question, what's going to happen as the economy takes a big shakablam? And the answer is, I don't really know. It's really hard to say if crypto will do good or bad after a massive economic collapse. Because historically, there's been a really pretty tight direct correlation between the S&P, Dow, whatever, and Bitcoin. However, as ETFs have opened up, more and more people are looking at it more as a gold, as a safe haven against an economic collapse. On the opposite side, let's say hypothetically speaking that a massive collapse of sorts were to happen, people would be skeptical all around, taking the money that they can get, hoarding it, and perhaps not be in the mindset enough yet to put it into a safe haven or a hedge as Bitcoin, because perhaps they'd be realizing a lot of profits at that point, right? To kind of combat all the losses on the opposite fields, for example. Anyway, you've got to sometimes think about that. What if indeed the economy takes a really, really massive pitfall? Because I'm going crazy on crypto right now. Am I prepared for that? Am I prepared for crazy higher prices all across the board? Am I prepared to lose my job? And I think that's why a lot of people are in this crypto space, to make sure they prepare themselves for crazy things which are about to happen. Now, I think another little shock will be met in the markets over the next few weeks as the FOMC meeting rolls around the 20th-ish of March. This month, we've got nothing. But talking about important days and important deadlines, we got to talk about XRP. And now before we move on, I want to quickly talk about our partner for today's video. That is called Traxx. And Traxx has got something really interesting. It's a leading French regulated crypto index trading platform. It's got some really interesting features, like for example, being able to buy an entire crypto basket with just one click. So for example, top 10 metaverse cryptos, you don't have to go around and look for every single one coin. There are baskets that you can just buy the whole thing with. And I guess the best way to compare it is right now we're all talking about the next big ETF coming for guys like BlackRock, right? We're talking about an Ethereum or perhaps a altcoin ETF. Well, this is something kind of similar to that, where you are again buying a whole basket of different cryptos. And it can be done in a lot of different sectors and has rebalancing as an example. So to give you an overview of what that might look like, again here, top 10 crypto, or for example, growth, or just Bitcoin, for example, or balanced, for example, or hey, AI. Press learn more, and then it sends you over into the platform itself where you can indeed choose exactly which area you're watching, like for example, hey, artificial intelligence, and then it lists exactly the 5, in this case, components making up this quote-unquote portfolio, or again, like it was called, basket. Or if you're pressing centralized exchanges, it's got a couple of different coins in there. It's also got things like a balanced crypto portfolio, for example. And I think this could really work with a lot of people that are willing to get into crypto but don't fully want to be responsible for picking every coin themselves, or who finds it difficult or too time consuming. And again, these guys are properly regulated over in France, the French AMF, so they're not a joke. And one thing I personally find quite cool, it's a little bit over on the bottom left here, is that they are also adding, I guess this is just the start but more is coming, things like staked MATIC. So I'm presuming they're going to be adding more and more staked tokens in here as well for people that do not know how to stake themselves. Anyway, right now as it stands, they have got a token sale going on that is integral to this entire ecosystem. It's like being able to buy like an exchange token early. Sometimes it does really well. It has to do with governance. They'll be having buybacks. It helps with your API trading rates, get discounts on fees, and priority access to new services. You can read more about it right there. And now they've already raised, I think, $3 million, as it says right here, or $3.3 million. And right now they're in phase 3.2. I think perhaps there might be one more tiny phase afterwards. But every single phase, the amount of money necessary to get in lowers, but the price increases ever so slightly. And they're doing only a pretty small raise of only $100,000 here. And honestly, guys, there was so much more to cover, but obviously I don't want to take up the full video. So if you're interested in the platform or the token, check out the link down below. Again, most of my own investing is in these early type of rounds. Not financial advice though. Do your own due diligence. Let's move on with this video. So to continue on with the XRP story, because it's interesting, is we've got another deadline here coming up really shortly. I think tomorrow officially is the deadline. It was originally February 12th, but it was pushed further. As revealed in the request for an extension of time, Ripple has already produced its 2022-2023 financial statements and responded to the SEC's interrogatory about post-complaint proceeds. However, the crypto firm had then asked the remedies-related discovery deadline to be extended to February 20th because of the burdens and difficulty in collecting and producing those contracts by previous deadline of February 12th. Once this discovery stage is done tomorrow, the case is expected to proceed to the remedies-related briefing stage, where the SEC addresses the courts on its findings, whatever Ripple was able to put up in documents. From documents provided by Ripple, the commission is then expected to make certain demands from the court regarding the penalty that should be imposed on Ripple. And a lot of people are thinking that it's potentially going to be a number in the $700–800 million ballpark, but most likely significantly lower from what I heard from most people, because their initial demand usually kind of gets cranked down. Then again, like I was trying to say, a lot of people are saying that that's going to be the moment where the paradigm shifts from Ripple and XRP being seen in this bad daylight to now it being over, all the case, everything being out, and now finally being able to move upwards and forward again. By the way, every single time I make an XRP video, when I look at the comments, the amount of people saying they've given up or that just can't sell it is insane. But let me tell you, the reason I talk about it so much is because I got a good chunk of XRP, but also because really, at the end of the day, you're not here to please Ripple. You're not here to please people with such huge amounts of XRP that have held from 0.0001. You're here because you think the investment's going to do wild. And the reason I talk about pre-sales like earlier in the video so much is honestly, because it's just one of the better ways to make money. And when you're selling a crypto you've known and loved for a while, for example, I've got a juicy amount of XDC in my portfolio. I'm just kind of looking through here for funds and giggles. Even though XDC has the potential to do wild, I don't mind selling it to some extent. HBAR, it's done really, really well for me. I've made tons of profit of HBAR. I don't mind selling it if there's an even better opportunity on the short term. Because I don't feel anymore, right? This idea of, oh, I wish I held it. I've made that mistake so many times. You can only work with the information you have at that exact time. If there's a juicy opportunity, I need these funds. I need to move them right now. I could never sell all of my whatever coin, XDC, HBAR, etc. But let's just say hypothetically, right? You had $10,000 in it. I could probably shave off a couple $1,000s, let's say 3 or whatever. So lowering that position by a chunk to go for a new opportunity. Because now I've got $3,000 again. I might put into 10 different cryptos, $300 each, which can again multiply to crazy numbers over time. That would yield way better results than only holding one. Not always the case, but as the crypto market progresses, if you've got all your funds stuck in 1 or 2 different coins, it's not my way of doing this. I buy as many pre-sales as possible. As many as possible. Not financial advice. That's what I do. And go crazy on AI coins. And that's like my day-to-day. Side note, apparently Fixed Float just suffered a 2,000 Ethereum drain. Wait. The hackers... never mind. The hackers moved the stolen crypto to multiple deposits on X. I've never heard of that before. Creating a false trail to 2 HitBTC addresses. And the thing is, I was just texting my friend yesterday that HitBTC used to be my main exchange a few years ago. And I don't remember my email or my password. I'll look it up next week probably. Because back then I had a different email for every single thing, a different phone number, a different email, different everything. Still, if you know my security measures, I think a lot of you guys would say I'm a freaking paranoid nerd. But then I sometimes meet people that are double as crazy as I am, and I kind of get, happy, I guess. To some extent, I get disappointed that I'm not the craziest. On the other end, I'm like, whoa, what people do? Perhaps I do as well. Is buy new laptops every single time, so you only have to open MetaMask or whatever once and then never let it touch the internet and never open the laptop again, never touch it at all. And so one of my friends has like, what, 20 laptops or so. It's kind of funny. I asked why, what's the point? Well, and they serve different purposes, different ones because you can just always keep the private key, right? But different ones for different purposes and kind of like a backup thing. If you only have one laptop and it breaks, you want to have multiple, and he just takes it overkill. I don't think it's 20. It might be just 10 or 12. And I don't fully understand exactly why. Point being, as the crypto market progresses, the hacks will also keep getting crazier. Something you've got to understand. And I don't really have anything to tell you here except for be wary, be careful. I always talk about farming these airdrops and using these dexes, providing liquidity, etc. But, you know, with that territory also comes the darker side, which is you're opening yourself up to more hacks and more fraud and more things of that nature. Another little side note. I've been here for 10 years, right? One thing I'll tell you as well, it's kind of funny. If you now decide to not, take let's say, for example, $1,000. You put $100 into 10 different cryptos, 10 juicy cryptos. You put it in a MetaMask. You never look at that one again for like a year or two. Specifically 8 months. You know what's funny is that probably when you look back, it's going to have a crazy number on it. But the hard part is just being able to hold through for the next few months or so. And if you wait 2 years, it'll probably be lower than whatever you have in it right now. But to some extent, I think as well, me, and a lot of you guys are micromanaging these crypto portfolios every single day. But if you just pause, take a little breather, look back in a few months, probably they'll all be up so much. One of the biggest coins in my portfolio as well, by the way, Stacks, is also doing amazing. You know what's funny? I actually have only used Stacks, I think, 3 or so times. And the reason I've got such a ton of it is because there was a protocol, I don't even remember the name, that I talked to you guys about a little while back when I was making an airdrop tutorial video. And for those tutorials, I always take hours and hours and hours of research, but mostly hours and hours and hours of effort in me figuring out how to use all these different protocols. And for one of those videos, I went to do all sorts of different protocols, one of them being 4 stacks. And so I just had to lock up a ton of stacks, and the yield is pretty juicy. But the majority of my stacks was bought below, I think, 80 cents or so. I made a video about my top altcoins. I have it on the side here. Give me a sec. Nah, it's not relevant. I've made the top coins with stacks in it too many times. So let's just say it like this. I've talked about stacks a lot, and it's just sometimes nice to see the results be shown this quickly and so exponential, especially when the coin is just this huge and it's this accessible to everybody. But that proves my point of don't sleep on the craziness of the crypto market just now. Many coins will be hitting their all-time highs soon enough. We're in bull market territory. It's not a bear market anymore. I've been saying this for over a year, because when the prices came down, at some point you have to realize now's the time to buy back in, go a little bit crazy, because obviously you don't know when things are going to turn back around, but at some point you realize it feels like we've bottomed out, so you start buying back in, you start getting more and more excited, and at some point the threshold I think was like 25,000 or so, maybe it was higher, maybe it was 30, I don't remember, where we started getting so bullish that you start diversifying more. At some point you realize, yep, all-time highs are definitely going to be coming, and the cycle that we always talk about on the channel most likely will keep on replicating itself. And yeah, I still believe that cryptos are on the up and up and up. If you don't believe it, don't worry about it, but I do. And that's about it for this crypto video. Hopefully see you guys again in another one tomorrow. Yeah, that's about it.